Tulsi Gabbard releases damning email that puts Clapper in the hot seat. Well, she drops the receipts. She drops the evidence to show that, man, Clapper definitely needs to be in prison. He definitely needs to go to prison for what he done. His seditious acts that he committed is despicable. And we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna show these emails. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, let's get into this news. Now, this comes from the Daily Wire, and they report that Director of National Intelligence, or DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, published an email on Wednesday that raised a number of questions about former DNI James Clapper and how hard he pushed other members of the intelligence community to rally behind the Russia hoax. And mind you, they know it was fake intelligence. They know it was a hoax, but they continue to push this. Is because they wanted to try to get Trump out the way. Well, Gabbard shared a screenshot of the email, which was sent by Clapper in late December of 2016 to then FBI Director James Comey, then CIA Director John Brennan, and National Security Agency Director Michael Rogers. Um, Let me enlarge it here. Let me pull it up here on X so y'all can see it. All right, you can see the email here. This is the other page here. All right. All right. So, um, and she posted it on X, a newly declassified top secret email sent on December 22nd, 2016, complying with President Obama's order to create the manufactured January 2017 ICA about Russia, exposed how DNI James Clapper demanded the IC fall in line behind the Russia hoax. Um, Clapper's email was a direct response to Rogers, who raised several concerns he had about the intelligence community assessment, or ICA, which would ultimately go to President Barack Obama's desk, that will become the Russia hoax, because he knew it was fake. Rogers knew this wasn't legit intelligence, but he said, "quote I asked my team if they'd had sufficient access to the underlying intelligence and sufficient time to review the intelligence." Rogers wrote earlier that same day. "On both points, my team raised concerns. I bet they did." Rogers went on to say that he would need to see everything related to the assessment if the NSA was going to be asked to co-author or sign on to the finished product, saying that he wanted to have full confidence in what they were saying before it went to the president. Clapper responded that evening. He said, "Understand your concern. It is essential that we, CIA, NSA, FBI, ODNI, be on the same page and are all supportive of the report in the highest tradition of, quote, that's our story and we're sticking to it." What? This evening? I mean, that's not how intelligence is supposed to work. But he goes on to say, "This evening, CIA has provided the NIC the complete draft generated by the ad hoc fusion cell. We will facilitate as much of mutual transparency as possible as we complete the report, but more time is not negotiable. We may have to compromise on our, quote, normal modalities since we must do this on such a compressed schedule." Now, why the short schedule, right? And why compromise your normal modalities? Why skip procedure? Why skip the regulations and the rules that y'all normally stick to? Why was this so important? They wanted to go for Trump. They wanted to go after Trump. That's why they needed it quick and in a hurry. And they didn't want you to go and find out that this intelligence is fake. The whole Russia thing was a hoax. They didn't want to verify. They didn't want you to verify anything because there was nothing to verify. The whole thing was made up. But Clapper concluded the missive with one final thought. He said, quote, "This is one project that has to be a team sport." What? Mind you, this is supposed to be intelligence. It's not supposed, there's no team sport in that. You collect the information, you take the information which you have and create some type of assessment off that information. And then if it's legit, if it's all founded, then you give that information to the president. That's how it's supposed to work. But you can tell from this, they were pushing an agenda from the very get-go. There was some reservations about it, and Clapper wanted this pushed anyway, just so they can come for Trump. That's what this whole thing was about. It's sickening. This man needs to be in prison. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.